Our journey began under a brilliant cloudless sky, the kind that makes the ocean shimmer like a field of diamonds. There was a sense of anticipation in the air, a feeling that anything was possible out on the open water. The serene majesty was a floating palace, slicing through sapphire waters with effortless grace. Its gleaming decks and towering silhouette promised adventure and luxury in equal measure. My wife Eleanor and I had saved for this trip for years, a celebration of our 50th anniversary. It was a milestone we dreamed of marking somewhere unforgettable, and this voyage felt like the perfect tribute to our life together. We stood on our balcony, watching the coastline fade into the distance, feeling the gentle sway of the ship beneath our feet. The world behind us grew smaller, while the promise of new horizons beckoned. Laughter and the clinking of glasses filled the air, mingling with the salty breeze. Every corner of the ship seemed alive with excitement and possibility. The ship was a city at sea, with theatres, libraries, and world-class restaurants. There were endless activities to discover, from art classes to wine tastings, and every evening brought a new show or culinary delight. We explored every deck, strolled at sunset, and felt utterly pampered by the attentive crew. Each day brought a new sense of wonder and relaxation. We met a young honeymoon couple, their eyes bright with excitement for the future, reminding us of our own beginnings, and a retired professor with stories as vast as the ocean, who captivated us with tales of distant lands and adventures past. There was a sense of community, strangers bound by adventure and the shared thrill of discovery. Friendships blossomed over shared meals and laughter. Those first days felt like a dream, carefree, joyful, and full of promise. The worries of everyday life melted away, replaced by a sense of freedom. We danced under the stars, feasted, and marveled at the beauty around us. Every moment felt precious, suspended in time. The serene majesty was our sanctuary, a haven of peace and comfort, where every sunset painted the sky in breathtaking colours. We had no reason to believe it would become anything else. The open sea held only promise, and we were ready to embrace it all. The first sign of trouble was almost invisible. A lady at bridge complained of dizziness. She pressed her hand to her forehead, her cards forgotten, and her friends exchanged worried glances. It seemed like nothing at first, just a fleeting moment of discomfort in the midst of laughter and conversation. We dismissed it as seasickness, a common enough complaint on the open sea, but soon others reported headaches and chills. The lounge, usually filled with cheerful chatter, grew quieter as more passengers began to look pale and tired. A young woman shivered by the pool despite the heat, her lips tinged blue as she wrapped herself tighter in her towel. The sun blazed overhead, but she couldn't seem to get warm. These incidents seemed isolated, easy to ignore. People hurried past, eager to reach their next activity, barely noticing those who lingered behind, looking unwell. The ship's newsletter made no mention of illness. Life continued as usual. There were announcements about dance lessons and trivia nights, but nothing about the growing number of passengers feeling unwell. Behind the scenes, the medical team saw a steady stream of vague symptoms: fever, malaise, dizziness. The infirmary grew busier each day, with worried faces lining the hallway. They suspected norovirus and reassured patients, offering advice and medication, but uncertainty lingered in their eyes. Eleanor and I remained healthy, but unease grew. We watched from our balcony as the mood on board shifted, a quiet tension settling over the ship. Laughter in the dining halls faded, empty chairs appeared at shows. The once bustling spaces now felt strangely hollow, as if something vital was missing. Crew wiped down surfaces more often, moving quietly through the corridors with disinfectant and cloths, their faces set in concentration. It was all discreet, but the change was there. Routines shifted, and a sense of caution crept into every gesture. The first whisper of illness had arrived. Passengers exchanged hushed words in corridors, casting nervous glances at one another. We could feel it, even if we couldn't name it. An invisible weight pressed down, making every interaction feel uncertain. The atmosphere shifted, subtly but unmistakably. What began as a faint unease was now a quiet collective anxiety that no one could quite explain. The situation escalated quickly, shifting from a sense of unease to outright alarm almost overnight. What began as a few isolated coughs soon became impossible to ignore. The coughs began, deep, persistent, echoing through the corridors and cabins, spreading like a chilling whisper among the passengers. The medical centre was overwhelmed, lines formed outside, with anxious faces searching for answers and relief. The illness was clearly respiratory, spreading fast. Each day, more people showed symptoms, and fear grew with every cough. Crew donned masks. Urgency replaced calm. The staff moved quickly, their eyes betraying concern as they tried to maintain order. The captain's announcements turned grave. A virus of unknown origin was spreading. His voice, once reassuring, now carried a heavy weight. All public gatherings were cancelled, pools, theatres and lounges closed. The ship's vibrant social life vanished in an instant. Passengers were told to stay in their cabins, doors closing on laughter and freedom, replaced by silence and worry. Our holiday was over, the dream shattered. Soon, quarantine became mandatory and the reality of our confinement set in. Notices under doors ordered us to remain inside, turning our cabins into cells for an indefinite stay. Meals arrived via masked staff, their brief visits a reminder of the world outside our doors. The Serene Majesty became a floating prison, adrift beneath ominous skies, its decks eerily empty and silent. The rising tide of illness breached every defence, overwhelming both passengers and crew as hope began to fade. We waited, uncertain what the next wave would bring, clinging to hope as the world outside seemed further away than ever. Our world shrank to our cabin. The balcony, once a portal, now felt like a cage's edge. Meals arrived silently, food now simple and functional. Days blurred together, marked only by sunrise and sunset. We kept a routine, reading, cards, pacing the small space. Eleanor made a schedule to fight despair. The ship's TV offered only updates, case numbers, medical briefings. The captain's strained voice was our only connection to the outside. Silence replaced the ship's cheerful hum. Coughs echoed from nearby cabins, a reminder we weren't alone. Our gilded cage was beautiful, but dread grew inside. Fear spread faster than the virus. Rumours ran wild. Bioweapons, tainted food, secret outbreaks. Passengers broke quarantine, desperate for answers. Arguments erupted, nerves frayed. Investigators searched for the source, but answers were scarce. Theories multiplied, fueling anxiety. The ship felt haunted. Dimmed lights, silent corridors, masked crew. In the vacuum of information, fear and suspicion thrived. Our hope rested on reaching land. The captain announced a diversion to the nearest port. Relief swept through the ship. We packed, ready to disembark. But as we neared shore, permission to dock was denied. No country wanted us. We were a floating pariah. This happened twice, each time hope crushed. We drifted in international waters, isolated and afraid. The ocean, once promising, became a prison. News reports showed us as a dot on a map, a crisis debated by politicians. For us, it was personal. We were families, not statistics. The world's refusal felt like betrayal. Compassion vanished in the face of fear. We were truly alone. Amid crisis, the captain became our anchor. His honest, steady voice cut through panic. He detailed infections, medical strain, and ongoing negotiations. His leadership gave us hope and structure. Announcements became rituals. We listened in silence. He spoke as a fellow human, urging calm and care. Behind the scenes, he managed terrified crew, rationed supplies, and pleaded with governments. His courage contrasted the indecision outside. He was more than a captain. He was our guardian. In the darkness, his humanity shone through. Quarantine stretched on. Days blurred into weeks. Life became a cycle of waiting, reading, and staring at the horizon. The sea lost its wonder. Time lost meaning. The medical crew worked tirelessly, transforming spaces into makeshift wards. Supplies dwindled, meals grew simpler. Small gestures, a chocolate on a tray, meant everything. Eleanor and I reflected on our lives, finding strength in each other. Stripped of distractions, we rediscovered our partnership. Fear lingered, but so did love. The ordeal brought unexpected clarity. We confronted what truly mattered. After 14 days, a nation finally let us dock. Relief was quiet, exhausted. We were escorted ashore by figures in hazmat suits. The serene majesty, once joyful, now looked like a tomb. Our celebration had become a test of survival. The ship's transformation was total. Luxury turned to isolation. Our ordeal exposed the fragility of modern systems. It forced questions about preparedness and compassion. We survived, changed and humbled, having seen both the best and worst of humanity. The open sea now represents not freedom, but a beautiful, terrifying abyss.